Kevin here. I'm with
Kelsey
and Shane.
and Shane.
and Dixie.
And Dixie. And we are in their...
Love hut.
It looks like a beautiful cabin. It's like a cabin inside. It is awesome. It's totally awesome. But I did call it a slide-in camper, and I got my ass chewed by Kelsey yesterday, so I will not call it a slide-in camper anymore.
It's a tiny home.
It's a tiny home.
It's a truck bed tiny house.
It's a tiny house. All right. Tell me a little bit about you.
I grew up in East Texas and moved to Dallas to start bartending my way through college, and that's where I met this guy from Alabama.
Yeah, I had just sold everything I owned and moved to Dallas on a wild hair. So we just happened to meet because I'd go to the bar she was working in.
Okay. And how long have you been together?
8 years?
8
8 years.
Yeah.
We just got engaged a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, pretty cool. In Hawaii, right?
In Hawaii,
Right.
yeah.
My goodness. Living
We're on a
good
mission to go to all 50 states, but we couldn't drive our big yellow house to Hawaii, so we had to fly there.
life.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah.
we've done 12 states in 12 weeks.
12 states in 12 weeks.
Yep,
So you're just getting up and going.
We are,
we are.
and we're waiting on winter to settle down so we can do the northern half of the country. So here we are in the desert.
All right. Who did the build?
Both of us did.
Yeah, it's about a 50-50 effort here. He did the heavy lifting, and I did everything that...
She did all the woodwork inside. She did all the shiplap. She stained every inch of this thing. She painted most of it. She possibly did more work than I did, actually.
I also designed it. So
She did. She drew it on graphing paper and everything.
I drew to scale exactly what I wanted, had everything, envisioned what I wanted it to look like, each storage compartment, how big everything was. And he came home from work, and I slid it to him. It was
And you intentionally pushed it to the maximum legal width, or you discovered afterwards, oh my God,
No, yeah, we
Yeah.
were very intent on making it as big as we could because we were worried about space. In hindsight,
Right.
this thing's freaking huge. Like,
Yeah. Now we're like, we probably could have gone a little bit smaller and been fine, but
what size of mattress is that? A queen or a king?
it's a queen.
It's
it's a queen. But we do have a bench on the other side so that we can sit and look out that window as well.
I mean, it's huge. And then the headroom above the cab of your pickup
yeah.
truck, it's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
not ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculously, it's impressive.
In the middle, I can almost stand up straight. I could stand up straight before we put the 13-inch mattress in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we downgraded from a California king to a queen, so this
Yeah.
is a sacrifice for us.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, Shane's tall, so the beds get shorter after you go smaller than queen.
so is there anything you would do different now that you lived in it for a couple months?
I mean, I feel like there's always things with the build that we're just tweaking as we go.
Right.
Yeah. I would have done a couple of key structural things a little differently now that I've had time to sit and think, or
Right.
maybe I would have done the roof differently. I probably would have fiberglassed the roof instead of what we chose to do
Yeah.
for the roof. It's been a constant issue. So as far as that, we made some. Now we've met more people and we've learned more ways to do things.
Would
Kinda
you,
would've went
would
back
you
and-
still be 102 inches wide?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. She
got a
said
yes
yes,
and a
I
no
say
there.
no. I think I would have cut a foot off, but
Okay.
other than that, no, we're pretty content with what we did. To have done this in 43 days too was a big bragging right for us. We really
Yeah.
busted our ass to make this dream come true.
We did. There was not a lot of sleep in that 43 days.
Yes, that was a quick build.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot of work. There was
So
a
you,
lot of nights of no sleep. But
We told ourselves we were going to do it in 30 days, and had it not been for Alabama rainstorms, I think we could have
probably
done
would
it.
have done it.
I mean, that's quick. I mean,
It was.
Yeah.
It was a lot of her making me keep going too. There was a lot of
Oh,
days
she
I
cracked
just
the whip.
wanted to crawl
Maybe a
into
little.
bed and put a pillow over my head and not do shit. And she was like, "No, you got to get up."
why live on the road?
Why not?
Yeah, we both have that wanderlust, as they call it. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just a really cool idea, and it turns out there's a lot of positivity to this, and there's there's a lot of meeting people like yourself, and just everyone that you come across that lives this lifestyle. They do it intentionally, and they're doing something that makes them happy. Versus a lot of people you encounter in a normal life. Or
run across two categories at least. One is you're doing it because you want to, and then there's another category is where you're doing it because you have to. Or
we haven't met a lot of those.
There's several of them out here. And they're fleeing the
whatever they're fleeing.
The rent, and there's some who are fleeing things that we might not want to know about. But the high rents and
the catalyst of this whole thing to really pulling the gun on it was we lived in Denver for almost 2 years, and we reached a point of cost of living that we were just working. Is all we did was we worked to live, and that's a miserable
that's
life
in the country, isn't it?
I mean, I think we were paying $1,600 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, it was just
and not even
astronomical.
A great place. Like, it just doing that, and every single bit of your money just constantly going out the window. And I mean, we didn't even own it, So it's not like we were building equity.
Zach, my next question would be, what's your monthly cost living this way?
It's between $1,000 and $1,200, depending
on how much
on
we drive too. You can.
It's gas is where that fluctuates.
Yeah.
Gas.
We get 10 miles to the gallon, so if you have a destination that you have in mind and you're really pushing towards it, you can burn through some fuel very quickly. Versus if you take your time and meander, you can definitely slow your expenditures down.
What's the hardest part to living on the road?
I don't feel like there is hard parts.
Yeah, there's daily challenges, but I wouldn't say this is a hard life.
I mean, even the daily challenges that we face, though, they're nowhere near as stressful as just the normal challenges of, we live normal lives, like.
I personally had a hard time adjusting to not having a schedule. There's when you live a 8 to 5 type of job, or I worked nights, so my schedule was upside down, but you have things that you do every day, and there's no schedule to this lifestyle. You have this anxiety almost of like, what am I supposed to be doing? And the answer is nothing.
And I mean, but then, like, when you think about it, no one's providing for us or supporting us. Like, we're completely supporting ourselves doing this.
Absolutely.
And as long as we're taking care of ourselves and we're taking care of our responsibilities, like, why does it matter if we work, Like,
and what's the most rewarding part?
Time together. We've gotten a lot closer over this last 2.5 months. I mean, we even, after 8 years, we finally pulled that trigger. And
do you think moving on the road made you pull the trigger, or pushed you towards pulling the trigger and getting engaged?
I do.
You do?
I do. It was a drive towards it. You start figuring out that the person you're doing this with, that it's a quick way to decide if you want to be with someone or not.
If you live that close to each other.
If you can do this together and wake up happy every day, then you belong with that person.
I mean, there's no boundaries between us living this lifestyle. So I don't think you could know someone better than we know each other.
I think me and my wife are the same way. We lived on a boat for a while, and and some people would freak out about some of the things we actually do together,
Yeah.
But it's just like, we just two peas in a pod. We're kind of one and the same.
Yeah.
But living on the boat, we had to be real cautious with how many clothes we had and everything.
Right.
So, do you have an allotment of clothes you're allowed to have, or?
Well, we each have 2 drawers, so they're below the couch. My clothes are smaller.
Right.
But we have 2 drawers. So that allows me to have like a significant amount of clothing, so that it's not too hard on me.
But we set the goal around 2 weeks. So we have about 14 days of clean clothes, and then...
So you're able to go 14 days before you go wash clothes?
Yeah.
Oh, you got that much?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's if you change clothes every day. If you can repurpose, you wear blue jeans multiple times or whatever, you can stretch it out a while.
Yeah.
But the jeans I've been wearing last couple of days can walk by themselves, so I figure it's time to change them.
No, I could legitimately... I could go almost a full month, depending on the weather. In the winter, it'd be a little harder.
Yeah.
But I could go almost a full month without doing laundry and be fine.
Okay. And any problems with crime or anything?
No.
Crime? No.
Not
We
at
haven't
all.
had any issues. We tend to stay out of cities, so
Right.
that lowers a lot of that risk. You know, a lot of people that are doing van life and stuff, they're really parking inner city, and this thing's massive. And
Stealth camping.
there is no stealth
You
camping.
you
are-
stealth camping in this rascal.
No.
Yeah, no, that
we are
doesn't happen.
Very noticeable, and that's good. That brings people to us, and it makes people happy, and that's what we like. But we are very aware of what it's just you can't do it, man. And
Yeah.
some of them even followed us on YouTube and stuff, and he's been tracking us across the country. He was really
Yeah,
into it. He was
comments on our
apologetic,
stuff
but
all the time. It was
he
really
was doing his job. But other than that, we have not had any run-in with police,
Yeah.
as I would think of a run-in with police. It's been very nice.
So where do you see yourselves in 20 years?
I don't know, man. I don't know where I see myself tomorrow, to tell you the truth.
Hopefully still living with each other and doing what we love.
Let's talk about the build. You got a pretty interesting looking faucet for your sink there.
Yeah.
That was just copper piping pieces. I actually bought the wrong stuff. I thought they were going to fit together, so I sweated copper pipe for the first time in my life. And
Okay.
I
Yeah.
did a C- job on it, but it does not leak, and I'm very happy about that. It works. It's very functional.
It's exactly what we needed it to be.
A lot of this house is very functional. Like, we tried to make it as, as aesthetically appealing as possible, and we used a lot of refurbished things. We did this as cheap as we could.
Yeah, we
For $4,000, we built this whole structure.
and that's including all of our solar stuff, our new mattress and TV. So I think actually like materials for the build by itself was under $3.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me about the water system. How many gallons of water do you carry?
We carry 12 gallons on board. We've started carrying milk jugs. They're just a little easier to handle. We have 2 big 6-gallon BPA-free plastic jugs that we carry. One is routed directly into the sink through a pump. And we had some issues with it still tasting like plastic, which is just cleared up recently. Eventually you pump enough water that all that residual comes out. And then we have a secondary in the back that holds so we can refill our jugs. And then we also have a 6-gallon gray water tank to catch what comes through the sink.
You got a gray water. You have no toilet or head in here.
Not currently.
We
are
don't.
strongly thinking of building one, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've seen a couple of handmade ones that I definitely think we could accomplish. We have a place for one.
Yeah.
We looked at doing like Kim ones and different options.
Did you
And
look at Jesse's and Billy's?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones that are. I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
It looks.
No,
totally
they're actually really
functional
good
and-
friends of ours, so they just put that in, and they've been telling us all about it. So.
Your cabinetry is obviously
Very handmade.
very homemade, handmade.
Yeah.
Is it functional?
Totally, every inch of it. It
Every
was
inch
all
of it?
very
Yeah.
well thought. I spent probably a day and a half of standing in the middle of this thing, thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that?
Right.
And it's 98% of it is all pallet wood. Structurally speaking, there's a couple of 2x2s in there,
Right.
but most of it was from butchered pallets. And
A lot of drywall screws.
Yes.
I had a
Lots
giant tub
and
of them.
lots
There's
and lots of them.
there's hundreds of drywall screws in this thing, which made it cool. Like, because I had so many, it was very all the panels you can actually remove. So if you had to work on
Absolutely,
on
yeah.
it will come apart. It won't be an easy task.
Anything that you think you did in the cabinetry that you'd like to share with people that like, this is kind of nifty. I'd like people to know about this.
Well, I mean, our battery storage is underneath our feet. So we have the battery and then a flap that goes down, and you'll see our inverter and our charge controller there.
Well, let's talk about your electrical system since you started. What do you got for batteries?
We have one.
Yeah, we have one 124 amp hour lithium battery, and it has been plenty for us.
Okay.
We, in comparison to a lot of people that we talk to, they're like, how do you go with that little amount of power? And honestly, these lights run directly off the battery and don't pull anything. The only time we even turn our inverter on is for coffee in the morning, and the occasional night that we want to watch TV.
Right.
We've watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
I put one in my motorhome before I left, and I watched it
Yeah.
through half a movie.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Why do you need TV when you have
How big's your inverter?
nature?
it's a 700 watt. We actually bought a small one, so you cannot directly wire into it. So both of these devices are ran off extension cords that plug into it. We ordered all of it through Renogy, so it all came in one box together. It was really cool.
Yeah.
The
How big are
solar
your panels?
We have two 100-watt panels.
Because the batteries sit under the
So
floor.
now we get an electric blanket. That's one thing.
We
I
could
miss.
put up to 4 batteries in this rig, so
Alright.
we could add more. If I did, then obviously I'd probably change the way it's all worked.
And how did you insulate it?
It is,
fiberglass.
yeah, it's home insulation. We had it from another project, so we would just tear it apart and stuff it in every little crook and cranny. Even up here, this is all insulation.
Okay.
We went with cloth for the ceiling because we were starting to get pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So that was a good way I could cut, at least a couple 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we end the video?
No, I just want to thank you and anyone watching this for being interested in this,
Yeah, we really we didn't really expect so many people to take interest
Well,
in
it
what we're
kind
doing.
of screams out. Look at me.
Yeah, but you can only assume what people's reactions are going to be until you start getting them, and they ended up being a lot more positive than we ever dreamed.
Oh, I
they
think
would
you'll get
be.
nothing but positive in an environment like this crowd. you know?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting me look at your rig here. And
All right. Thanks, Kevin.
bye.